Hello and welcome to Riverside Crafts this afternoon. I'm Ray. I'm going to be making this little card topper here. So I'm going to be using some stamping techniques, some masking and bits so that you can sort of things. The stamps I'm using are by Francois Reed. They're from Woodware. So that's cardstock is from my stash. Don't know where it came from. I've had it such a long time, but that's how these things go. I'm just going to be stamping with Riverside Claire, colouring with Distress Inks. So I'll start you off so you can see where we go from there. I'm also going to be using this product here, which is Mask It, and I'll show you how I get to use that in a minute. So first things first, stamping platform. Put my stamps out of the way for a moment. Oh, I do apologise if you can hear a dog howling. It's my dog. It's just my husband has just took our granddaughter for a walk, and for some reason the dog is feeling left out, so he's crying. He knows I'm here, I've spoken to him, I've given him a fuss, but he's still crying, so I do apologise. He's having his moment, as it were. Now I'm using Riverside Claire because it's pigment ink, which means that it is waterproof. So using my Distress Ink means that I'm not got to worry about where it's going, though it's not going to blare on me. The other thing is it's a nice ink with a juicy ink pad, so I tend to get a very good print quite quickly without too many problems. It doesn't dry too quick in the heat, which at the moment is a definite plus, because things are definitely drying out quicker than you would like. So there we go. So right, so that's my piece of work done for there. I'm just going to move this stamp off, okay, because I need to take this one with it. So put that back on its carrier sheet and put it out the way for the moment. Right, now I'm going to start using my Mask It, because I'm going to have to, I want to put some stamps in certain places. So if I just bring this in a second, I want to put my snail in here, as you can see, but he is a bigger stamp than the space. So if I put him on there, just so you can see, look, he goes all the way over. I don't want that, so I don't want any of the snail in this area. Alright, so I'm just going to block off that area. Now Mask It is it's like a plastic on a carrier sheet, which is like a waxed paper. You need to stamp it with a permanent ink. Now this needs to be either STAZN or archival, because it's slightly plasticky. So if you do it with pigment ink, it's going to go everywhere. Okay. Once you've made the mask, it is very reusable. You can use it lots and lots of times, so there's no worries about that. You don't have to think, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with it? I need it again. So there we go. Right. So I've now blocked off the areas that I wanted blocking off. So here comes Mr. Snail, and I'm going to put him just up there, but can you see I've got a bit there that's going out of my square? So I'm just going to use this piece and just put it along that edge there. Use a magnet to hold it in place so it doesn't go for a walk. Okay, right, let's pick up Mr. Snail. Okay, now I'm going to ink him up. Okay, using the Riverside Claire again. And I'm going to place him where I want him to go. Okay, so he's now there. I'm just going to wipe that off the Mask It, because I don't really want it going, as you can see, it's going to smudge. So I'm just going to wipe off some of it so I don't get it all over my fingers. Okay, and that's taken that bit off there for a minute. Now on my picture I have a robin in here, so I'm just going to put my robin in. And I've lost a little bit. Where's it gone? Come back somewhere. There we go. Let's find the other sheet I've got. Okay, so I'm just going to cover over this bit here for a minute. Okay, let's just put our fingers there. Right, because I want that to now have a robin in it. Now the robin is coming from the Christmas set by Francois, one of the Christmas sets, one of them, and it's got the little owl on it. But he also has a little robin, which is perfect for what, and you can use robins whenever, can't you? You don't have to worry about them being just for Christmas or anything else. They can be used whenever you like. So let's put that one out of the way. That's the snail gone. So put my little robin there. As you can see, the masking's going just underneath him. So let's pick him up. Bit of ink. And we'll put him down where we want him. Right. Now, so I'm going to lift him up now. Now on my image here, I've used some of the words that are on my snail, okay, but I'm going to have to peel off some of my masking to be able to put those in. So I'm just going to peel this off and stick it onto the back of an envelope so I don't lose it. So I'm just going to peel it off and put it onto here for a second. So I'm just going to lift this up. As you can see, it lifts off quite easily without any difficulties. Okay. Now I'm just going to put that over here so I don't lose it, because I'm going to want it again another day. I tend to store these on the carrier sheets of the acetate when I put them all away, just so we know where everything is. Okay, just so that we don't lose bits and bobs and that, and you know then that everything is where you want it. Right, so that's that bit. Put them back there for a moment. Put them on it. Let's line up my words. So I've got here, we've got for you. We've got hello, which I think would go in that one quite nicely. Would it go in that one? Yeah, it will do. And then this one is miss you. I think I'm going to just put the for you and the hello on for the moment. So those two are going in there. I'm just going to pick those up quickly. Okay, so that's those two there, done. Not leave this bit here for a second. There's one other bit I've got on it. I've got a script stamp. I have had my script stamp for so many years now. It is, yes, so very old. But one of the things I do know about it is that it's very good for me to use as a background on something so it doesn't stick out. So I'm just going to mask off the areas I don't want my script on. I'm just putting this one here. I don't want my script going into this bit. I've got, come on you, let me come. I need that there covered. If you don't have masking, you can use a post-it note to do this. You just need to use the bit, make sure you keep the bit that's got the sticky on it. You can get post-it notes with sticky all the way over them as well now, which is quite useful for this sort of thing. I'm just going to take off another bit here I've got, that's all cut up. Okay. So that's going to sit in there, like so. And cover that over. Nope, come on in. There we go. That's covering that for me. And then I've got the bit to go in there so that I don't get the script stamp on my snail. So I'm just going to pick that one off as well. Right. So that'll do for now. Okay, now, so because I've had my script stamp a long time, I can't tell you where I got this from because I really don't know. But I keep them for ages and I use them a lot. So it's one of those ones that is used again and again and again. So, and it's not very sticky anymore. It's starting to need a wash, I think. So I'm just going to put some ink on this. I'm going to leave it on my platform, so I want to keep it where I'm doing it, but I also want to just sort of like put it into certain places, not everywhere. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of ink on. So I don't want necessarily to be a full image of it. Okay, so I'm just going to put a piece in here with some. Cool. And I'm just going to go. I need to cover my heart because that's not going to be. That's going to be. I don't want that to have any writing in it. So I'm just going to cover the heart over a second. I've forgotten about that bit. And where the for you is, because we don't want that to be written over with script either. Right. Wrong bit. Having a moment. Here we go. And I'm just going to put a little bit of script along there as well. Okay. Right. There we go. So that's that done. Not put a lot of script on it, just enough. Okay. So we take all the masking off now. Put the pumping platform away. We don't need that for now. We're finished. Let's put the masking back on the carrier sheet. Now, the cardstock that I've used is Crafter's Companion watercolour cardstock. So it's one I tend to use quite a lot. It's reasonably forgiving for me to do this sort of work, and it doesn't expect me to be too overly neat. Okay, so that's one of the things I like to do with that. Right, water pot, colours. Now, I'm going to start off with this piece here, which is what I used Vintage Photo to do, but I'm going to do it as a wet into wet, so I need a slightly bigger brush, but I also need one that's flat so it doesn't go everywhere. So I'm just going to put the water down on my here for me quickly. And pick my colour up and drop it in so that it goes all nice and washy and wishy-washy. What we want. We don't want it to be too, to give it an aged sort of tone, but not too much. I'm going to block where I've gone over the line. I don't want it all everywhere, so I'm just blotting it out a bit. Just putting a little bit of shadow in, and it can bleed out a bit because it's always wet, so that works nicely. Okay, right, just going to dry this quickly because that helps it work more efficiently if it's dry, and you don't then get the bleed on into the other areas. One of the good things about if you wet the paper first before you put your ink on, it sort of makes it only stay where there's water, so you don't get this bleeding across from one thing to the other, if that makes sense. It sort of settles quite nicely. Oh, a quick tip. Your heat gun, and you like to put it down and where you're going to put it, an old plant pot is perfect because it's ceramic. It's not going to, you've got somewhere to just drop your heat gun in and not worry about what it's leaning on. Am I going to knock it on the floor? It will stay where you put it. So it works. That's one of the best things I've found for doing my jobs, for doing bits and bobs in. Right. Going to do the green now, the evergreen bough, which is what I've used to do this bit down here and the bottom of the oh gosh, snail. I'm just going to put this in here quickly and do a quick wash. So I'm literally doing a very quick wash, and I'm really not really taking the time to worry about where it's how quickly or how the finish is. Because I'm just doing a quick wash, like it's just a little bit of colour being shown underneath from a bit of paper that's been torn off something else. Okay, so that's that bit. Now I'm going to play and do my snail. I'm going to take my time on him, so I want him to look neat when I've done him. So I'm taking my time on him, and I'm just giving him the bits of colour as we go. Okay. So here we go. As you can see, I'm just sort of moving the water, moving the ink around, wiggling it along, so it's just sort of keeping where it wants to go. Now I'm going to sort of start adding it in, so I want to add some shadows, but I'm not going to bring up another darker colour because I've done a light wash. I can use the same colour for my shadowing and my shading because I've just done a very light wash over him to start with, so I can put in my darker bits with him quite happily, doing it with the same shade, just adding it in. Okay, and all I've got to do to make it look, to blend it, is get a damp brush and just wiggle it, and it will blend those edges in, and you will not, and it will just look like it's meant to be there. Okay, so let's do his spots. His spots are wilted violet, so a nice bright purple. Because I thought if we did this one in bright colours, it'd be quite nice. Here we go, one nice bright one there. Okay, now the other bit that's purple is this down here, so I might as well do that while I'm here. So I'm just going to do that one and just colour it in while I'm doing it. So that's that bit there. Okay, right. Blueprint sketch. This is part of his shell. It is a very deep blue. Okay, it is really a definite blue. Okay, so it's just going in that colour. Now we're going to do the picked raspberry, which is the bright pink on his shell, and it's also the colour of the heart and one of the post-it bits, so we shall use it all and do it the same bits as we go. Now this isn't a colour I use very often because it's quite bright, and I don't use the blueprint sketch very often, but they are really good, definite colours, nice and cheerful, and for this sort of thing, absolutely perfect. I'll put that on there, wipe my brush off a minute with a bit of water, and then just come in and wiggle, and it will just blend it nicely, so it will just go from one colour to the other, nice and dark. There we go, so that's done that bit for a minute. Right, I'm going to use the yellow for a moment, and there's a couple of bits of yellow. There's a bit on his hat that I've done that's bright yellow, and there is the beak bit if I want it to show. So I'm just going to put his hat in here and do that bit there, so that's nice and yellow. We've got this here that I did, and this yellow is mustard seed, and it is a real nice bright yellow, sort of yellow that you think of for yellow tulips and sunflowers. It's just really, really nice.